Well, Namo Vishnu Vidaya Krishna Pristaya Gudale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavari Paschachari. So earlier we were talking about Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur because today is his disappearance day. It's also the disappearance day of
So once you click this right here, you're going to download the song.
Gadadhara Pandit. Gadadhara, we know very well, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vasadi, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. So every day we're chanting many times probably, if we're joining any kirtans, the name of Gadadhara. Gadadhara is a close associate of Lord Chaitanya, one of the closest associates, similar age. And in the early days, Lord Chaitanya would harass him. He's actually Radha. It came because she thought as a man can have more association, don't have to hide out and sneak. But Lord Chaitanya would try to debate him and say his arguments were stupid and wrong and just give him a hard time. He'd think, let me run home, and get away from him. But later, they became very, very close. So the first, at least that I recall, when Mahaprabhu came back from Gaya, and he was completely changed and exhibiting all ecstasy and love of God, chanting all the time and crying, where is Krishna, where is Krishna? And nobody could calm him down. But Gadadhara managed to speak to him in such a way to calm him down. And Sachimata was so impressed, she said, I never saw such an intelligent boy. And then when Lord Chaitanya was crying, where is Krishna, where is Krishna? Gadadhara said, he's in your heart. Don't worry, he's right there. And then he said, I'm going to get him out. And he was, and Gadadhara somehow calmed him down. So Sachimata gave him the order, you have to be with my son all the time, So this was a big change from the Braj Leela, where the mother of Krishna, the mother of the so-called husband of Radharani, was always trying to keep Radha away from Krishna. Of course, Mother Yasoda wanted her to cook every day. She wanted only her to cook for Krishna because she had a blessing. So Gadadhara, he was also an expert cook. That'll come up later. So when Lord Chaitanya went to Puri, Gadadhara also went, and he took sannyas, but he took a called Chaitra sannyas. Means he's going to stay in Puri only. Bhaktivinoda said that's even a higher level of sannyas than running around sannyasis. But then Lord Chaitanya, he found this Gopinath deity, which is now called Tota Gopinath, because Tota means a hill there. He found him in the hill. And he gave that to Gadadhara. So Gadadhara took this vow to lifetime worshipping of Tota Gopinath. And Lord Chaitanya would visit him daily. A very intimate association. And Gadadhara was an expert Srimad Bhagavatam, reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, discussing Srimad Bhagavatam, everything about Srimad Bhagavatam. And they would read together every day for, I said, like 3 hours. And it's mentioned that they brought all Bhagavatam, like Vaishnavas do, but they especially liked the Prahlad Leela and the Dhruva Maharaj Leelas. That's always interesting. Here you have Radha and Krishna, and they like to hear about Dhruva Maharaj and Prahlad Maharaj. So they're showing us, that the Bhagavatam is all Bhagavatam. It's all about Krishna. And there's many different explanations for why Lord Chaitanya especially liked it. But he liked the devotees who had to struggle to get what they got. And Gadadhara was an expert cook, and Lord Chaitanya would come there and take prasadam and relish very, very much the cooking of Gadadhara, cooking for the pleasure of the Lord. Then when Lord Chaitanya was going to leave Puri, a few times he left, he stayed there for some time, then he traveled, and anyway, one of the times he was leaving, Gadadhara said, "I'm coming with you." And this is a very wonderful pastime. And Lord Chaitanya said, "No, you can't go. You have this vow. You have to, stay and worship the deity. And if you leave, because you're going with me," Lord Chaitanya said, "and I'll be held responsible for that, and I'll have to suffer some aparad." Gadadhara said, "All right, I'll just go on my own. I'll just follow you. It has nothing to do with you, even though you refused. So therefore, you won't be implicated." And Lord Chaitanya did not agree with his arguments. And then he said, "But you're also the Supreme Lord. You're Krishna himself. So if I'm with you, and it's the same as if I'm serving the deity." But Lord Chaitanya didn't agree. I mean, this is simultaneously one and different, that the deity is Krishna, and then Krishna is Krishna, but he had a vow to serve this particular deity of Krishna, not to just go anywhere and serve Krishna. And Lord Chaitanya didn't want to be thinking he was Krishna either. So Gadadhara followed. Lord Chaitanya left and Gadadhara followed. But they got to a river crossing, and Lord Chaitanya got on the boat and took off without Gadadhara. And I suppose he told the boat, "Don't go back." Then Gadadhara fell unconscious in total anxiety, separation from the Lord. Imagine they were 3 hours a day together, relishing Srimad Bhagavatam. You never know it's Krishna's. It's Krishna. He left the same thing way he left Vrindavan and left Radharani. So, but then I think it was Sarvabhauma. He was there, and he revived Gadadhara and convinced him that he got causeless mercy of the Lord, that he didn't break his vow, that he's sticking with his vow, to serve Tota Gopinath. And he stuck with that his whole life. Later on, after the disappearance of Lord Chaitanya, all the intimate associates of Lord Chaitanya were just kind of in what they call melancholy, or we would call spaced out. I don't know exactly what we'd call it. The Prabhupada used the word melancholy. They didn't eat, they couldn't sleep, they're just total anxiety. So they were aging very quickly and leaving their bodies. Because Gadadhara was similar age to Lord Chaitanya, but he didn't live very long after Lord Chaitanya's disappearance. Lord Chaitanya disappeared at his temple. Is a story that we accept by Bhaktisiddhanta and Prabhupada. There's other stories, but he went in the Gopinath temple and never came out. Everybody was waiting for him to come out. And they say there's a golden spot somewhere on the Gopinath deity. But anyway, he merged into the body of Gopinath. So Gadadhara was aging very fast. I get mixed up between Srinivas and Narottam, but one of them was, trying to meet Lord Chaitanya. He got there, he was gone. He couldn't meet Lechananda. Advaita was gone. And then he went to Puri and to study Srimad Bhagavatam with Gadadhara. And Gadadhara, copy of the book was all ruined because whenever he read the Bhagavatam, he would weep, and the tears were flooding on the book. And so he couldn't, Narottam, he couldn't read it. But of course, Gadadhara could teach it anyway. He knew it by heart. They did find one other copy, and then he studied. And then somehow he went back to Navadvip looking for someone. And he was gone. He went back to Puri, but when he was getting close to Puri, he saw many people coming, crying, and everybody looking really miserable. And then he learned that Gadadhara had also left. And this is interesting. If you've been seen Tota Gopinath, he's sitting down. He's very tall. He's very big. He's even sitting down, his head is very high. He said he was not originally sitting down, but Gadadhara, when he aged, he couldn't reach up to put on the crowns, or and so Krishna sat down. That's kind of another example of so much intimacy. So we can find, if you in Chaitanya Charitamrita, the story of Gadadhara's initiation. That's like very fascinating. He was, he was a very advanced devotee from life, very respected. And then when Pundarik Vijayanidhi came to Navadvip, nobody knew him except Mukunda, who was from the same place in Bangladesh. And Lord Chaitanya, of course, knew he was there and was, he was calling out the name Pundarik and Father, and nobody knew what he was talking about. And so Mukunda asked Gadadhara, there's a very, very advanced devotee, great devotee, and would you like to meet him? So Gadadhara said, yes, of course. So they went to meet Pundarik. Now Pundarik Vijayanidhi he was a zamindar. Zamindar means a very big landlord, and he was like a king. Very rich. And he was living in a completely opulent surroundings, silk pillows, and his hair was all dressed and taken care of and perfumed, and he had a lot of jewelry and beautiful clothes and marble furniture and ghee lamp post, I guess, like everything really, really amazingly opulent. So Gadadhara was a simple Brahmin. He in his mind he got some doubts, and he was wondering how could this person be such a great devotee when he's living in such opulence. Generally that doesn't match, So Mukunda, who could, he could understand the good mind of Gadadhara, I guess by seeing his face and just understanding that this might happen to anyone who saw this. He's being fanned by servants on both sides. And so Mukunda recited a sloka from the Bhagavatam, where the devotee is saying, how can anyone be so merciful as Krishna that even he gave Putana, who tried to kill him, the position of a mother in the spiritual world. And when Pundarik heard that, he started howling and he started crying, and he was just repeating the verse, and he was, saying Krishna, and he fell unconscious, and he was rolling on the ground and ripped up his clothes and got all dirty and broke the furniture and fell unconscious for a few hours and get up again, and just so much ecstasy and so many ecstatic symptoms. So then Gadadhara understood that he's really a great devotee, like inconceivably overwhelmed by Krishna prema. This went on for many hours, just standing up, falling down, rolling, passing out completely, not moving, crying and flooding, everything wet and muddy, in the dust and from the tears. And the Gadadhara was feeling that he made an offense. And he was thinking the only way to mitigate this offense is to become his disciple. If I get initiated by him and I just serve him the rest of my life, then that will counteract this offense. So I guess he mentioned first to Mukunda, and he thought, very good idea. It was a perfect match because Gadadhara was such a wonderful devotee and such a wonderful spiritual master, Pundarik. So They went to Lord Chaitanya to ask for his permission, and he was very happy about it. And so they picked an auspicious day, astrologically, and he took initiation and became the disciple of Pundarik Vijayanidhi. So I don't offhand remember. I was trying to research. Of course, Gadadhara's name is mentioned hundreds of times in Chaitanya Charitamrita because whenever the Panchatattva mantra is there, or whenever there's a mention of a gathering devotees and there's just a list of names, we find Gadadhara. And Prabhupada said we can worship Gaur Nitai, Radha Krishna, Sitaram, Gaur Gadadhara. A few devotees I know worship Gaur Gadadhara. It's more of an intimate type of worship because it's Radha and Krishna. So we find Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he worshipped Gaur Gadadhara in his house in Navadvip. The deities are Gaur Gadadhara. And at the Chaitanya Mat, the Yoga Pit in the back, there's Gaur Gadadhara also. Otherwise, we don't find so many times around, but very, very advanced devotees in a very high level generally will worship Gaur Gadadhara. It's not in the, although evidently he did also go on Harinam and Sankirtan and everything, but more it's not that mood, that's the mood of Gaur Nitai. So Gaur Gadadhara, it's the name of God, Gadadhara, Gadadhar Das. This is Gadadhar Pandit. There's also a Gadadhar Das, but he was different. He was a devotee in Bengal that always did Sankirtan. This is Gadadhar Pandit, the member of Panchatattva. So we are very fortunate to have association of these devotees. When we chant their name, we can associate with them. Specifically, at least myself, sometimes we do Artik for Panchatattva in Mayapur if I can get there before Gopal Krishna Maharaj. Not so easy to have done. Even if you do get there, he cries and begs and he wants to do it. So we usually let him do it. But you can think, that Gadadhar has this incredible taste for the Srimad Bhagavatam. And this is something that, is desirable to get this taste. We want taste for service, taste for the holy name. But if we can just get this love for the Srimad Bhagavatam and read it all the time and talk about it all the time, and that will attract Lord Chaitanya to be with us because he likes to read it. So Gadadhar, he can give us that. Also, dedication to our service. We had I know there's a few pujaris. There's many, I don't know all of them, but I know a few that just completely dedicate their life to worshiping a particular deity. Hard never go anywhere. They just do everything for that deity. I know that one boy, I forget his name, in London, he was there for so long. The only time I ever saw him, he was either going onto the altar or coming off the altar. But he also was a real scholar of Bhagavad Gita. But he didn't go out. I think he might have gone to India one time. He was just so dedicated to Radha Gokulananda. And the Mataji there in Innisnath in Ireland, she's just completely dedicated, almost does everything herself most of the time. And many others like that. So they get the mercy of Gadadhar. He took that vow, and we should all have a vow for dedicating our life at least to serving the spiritual master in some way. That's the most necessary thing. In his case, Lord Chaitanya, told him, you take this service, you take this vow, you take this deity and worship the rest of your life. Lord Chaitanya personally gave him the deity. But we should understand that whatever we have as Krishna is giving it to us. It may come through many other channels, but somehow or other, whatever service we have, Krishna is giving it to us. I can see a lot of devotees listening that are totally dedicated, like Mohani Sini Lightfoot. She's Lightfoot because she can still run around and distribute books every weekend, chasing people around and telling them that the Bhagavad Gita is her favorite book and selling 30, 40 Bhagavad Gitas a day. And she's not a young lady, but she doesn't know that when she's distributing books. She doesn't know she's old. This is the nature of devotional service. We transcend the body. So let's see who else is there. I could glorify everybody. We got some I don't know. Madhuri Prema. Omar from Tel Aviv. Dhiradas. Wow. Honored. Shubham Nagar. Prakash Das. Palash Das. Julia Amber, I don't know. Anavad Youngi, wow. She gets around. Dhruva Maharaj, she's here. Devarshi from Africa. Kalavati Shakti, how can she get on? She's in Puri for the Ratha Yatra. Amazing. And, Ravi. Good. Nice to see you engaging in some Krishna Katha. In your position, you have a lot of chances to really influence people to be devotees. If you remember Muhammad Ali, very soon after he became Muslim and was named Muhammad Ali, he won. I think he beat Sonny Liston that time. He was not favored to win, but he knocked him out in 30 seconds or something like that. And then he said, Allah gave me the punch. So millions of black boys in America want to become black Muslims. So, you know, if you just let it know, Krishna is giving me the ability. Krishna is the ability in man. Whatever we do, it's all Krishna. And even Kamanagari in Portugal. Okay, well, I'm fortunate. I also have to always thank Mr. Zuckerberg and all his thousands of employees who make this possible. Of course, Krishna is the ability in all of them, but they're not doing all this work. They're doing it for money. They're doing it for whatever reason. But, so people can so-called communicate. But it's giving facility for so much preaching, all these different things, the YouTube and the Facebook, and there's many others, but where we can reach out to so many people very easily, and it's inspiring for me to be, otherwise sometimes there's nobody around, nobody to talk to, but we can just put it out there, and it's out there, and it's forcing us to, really think about Krishna more, try to study these pastimes, study these great personalities, and hopefully get their blessings. So today's a very special day with everybody, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Gadadhara, Ratha Yatra, Puri Ratha Yatra was today, and many other Ratha Yatras. In Hungary had a Ratha Yatra today, Accra, Ghana, I don't know how many other ones, but it's a very, auspicious day for everything. And it's interesting that Bhaktivinoda Thakur left his body on the disappearance day of Gadadhara, and he was in Jagannath Puri at the time. So, there's some intimate connection between them. Of course, Bhaktivinoda Thakur did very much to study. When he was in Puri as a magistrate, he studied the Bhagavatam very deeply with many different teachers. And then he was able, when we think of the books that he wrote one which I'd like to find, but he all the verses from Bhagavatam that stress Krishna Bhakti, he compiled all in one book. The calendar says today is Gundicha Marjana, but today is Rath Yatra. That's here. And where I am, Rath Yatra would be today, I guess tomorrow or something. Gundicha Marjana was the day before Rath Yatra. But in Puri, it was yesterday. So it's anyway, a very auspicious day, and I thank everybody for tuning in. And please give me your blessings. We need support of all devotees, of hundreds of devotees, in order to really do any service. You know, we can't do much by ourselves. Prabhupada stressed that. You know, we need help, and we need everybody to preach in whatever way we can. You know, tell somebody about Krishna. Look like a devotee. You know, wear tilak. You know, people just know, like if somebody's a student, somebody's a businessman, even they don't talk about Krishna, but people know that they're somehow connected with Krishna, and the person is a good person, they're successful, they're good students, and people get a good impression of Krishna. Those Krishnas are good people. You know, Krishna people get clear heads, Krishna people are successful. And then we get more and more demand to speak. Now devotees are being asked to speak all over in so many big companies and so many different yoga schools and so many different places. So everyone can do that. Everyone, any devotee can read the Bhagavad Gita and talk about it. All you have to do is open your mouth. I know when I was first going to the temple, I was listening to the devotees a few weeks and just thinking, I wish I could talk like that, you know. And I thought it was just so brilliant the way they talked. And then I was reading Bhagavad Gita, and then one day somebody was saying something, and I just said, oh, Bhagavad Gita says, and I quoted Bhagavad Gita, and the devotees got all excited that I was speaking so brilliantly. So I thought, okay, I'll just try to always repeat Bhagavad Gita. It seems to go over pretty good. You know, repeat what we hear as parampara. We might paraphrase, or we might, you know, embellish it to some extent, or speak it in a more modern, you know, grammar or something. But just repeat what we hear. Don't change anything, and anyone can do that. So please do it, whether it's with your wife, your children, your husband, you know, your co-workers or whatever. There's so many things in Bhagavad Gita we can discuss without saying surrender to Krishna, you know, and, you know, just to interest people and make them understand, you know, how karma is working and reincarnation, on those things. So I leave it because I can't think of anything else about Gadadhara. But we all know Rath Yatra, and maybe you watched it because, you know, Puri Rath Yatra is live streamed, and many other ones were also. So we're connected to the whole world. So, and, you know, I take pictures on Harinama, the people taking pictures of us, and I said, chant, you know, you're on Candid Camera. That used to be a television show, Candid Camera, where they get somebody in a weird situation and be filming their reactions. And now, you know, we're out on Harinam, people are filming us all the time, so chant, smile, show your teeth and chant the holy name, and then you're being broadcast somewhere. You don't know. Sometimes it's a television show, sometimes it's newspaper reporters, or you don't know who it is, so take this chance. And Prabhupada is becoming more and more famous now. This movie has got a really good review in Los Angeles, and so that means it's going to get more and more places around the world. It's already scheduled for many places, but if people are asking for it, it'll go many more places. Make people really understand, and hopefully we can get inspired to be like Prabhupada. He struggled, but he was enjoying the struggle like anything, because it was pleasing to the spiritual master. So I'll leave you with that. Thank you all very much again. Bahut dhanyavad, or arigato. I don't know, see no Japanese are there. It's the middle of the night for them. Dali Pradnami. Okay, thank you all. Thank you, Ravi. It's good to see you looking so good on the, all your business. It's quite amazing. All right. Hare Krishna.